Well, good morning to you, Sakina, and the viewers at home. As you've correctly stated, President Cyril Ramaphosa is seeking to put an end to this private prosecution bid that will be sitting here at the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. Just to give you a bit of a rewind regarding the relief that he is seeking regarding this, the relief sought is that he's seeking a final interdict, which if he is successful, it will mean that the former president cannot continue with this private prosecution bid now or in the future. As you may remember, we have been hit by load shedding in the court, Sakina, but as you may remember, the former president is trying to privately prosecute the president for what he terms his alleged role in the disclosure of his health records at the corruption trial in the Pietermaritzburg court, which sits in KZN. As he stated before, that he wrote a complaint to the president in August of 2022, stating that there's been an alleged breach by the National Prosecuting Authority in the form of a senior prosecutor there and an external journalist regarding the reporting on this corruption trial in the KZN High Court. He states that he wanted the president in his capacity as the president to investigate the matter according to his powers that are afforded to him, so to establish a commission of inquiry into the alleged breach, because he believed it was a serious risk to the NPA and by extension the criminal justice system as a whole. And now we understand that the president did respond in August to say that he was going to refer the matter to the Minister of Justice, to then refer the matter to the LPC. Of course, this wasn't satisfactory to the former president, and that is when he launched this private prosecution bid by saying that according to the alleged failure to act on this breach of his health records, the president was then an accessory after the fact. So this is what brings us here. There's a criminal matter sitting in this very court right now where the former president has launched a private prosecution bid, and now we have the civil court entertaining the president's application to halt this private prosecution, as the president believes that it is an infringement of his constitutional rights, not only as an individual, but as someone who occupies the highest office in the land. He has an obligation to promote and protect the Constitution, as well as defend his fundamental rights, which are afforded in the Constitution. So those are the arguments that we had from Advocate Nwako Maineche on behalf of the president yesterday. And there was a big issue regarding jurisdiction of the civil courts and the criminal courts and their procedures yesterday. The court bantered around and expressed concerns about the distinction between the two and whether it is necessary to entertain this matter here in the civil court when you have a criminal court which allows a procedure where you can be assisted to defend the constitutionality of a private prosecution. But you've heard Advocate Darlene Mpofu on behalf of former President Jacob Zuma saying that this takes place according to the statute after the plea stage. That is when you raise your concerns regarding the right to prosecute. Of course, the nulli prosecute certificates that the president is trying to get the courts to declare invalid and unconstitutional. We've heard that both
Canny?
do not refer to the president. The arguments that the court heard yesterday,
yes,
specifically with the second one that almost broadened the scope by saying that the DPP declined to prosecute, quote unquote, anybody involved in the matter.
All right.
The
Canny?
former president, or rather the president's
Canny,
lawyers, have
apologies.
argued that this could not possibly have applied to the president, because when the former president mentioned the president's name in his docket and in his supplementary affidavit, which was before the criminal courts in the KZN High Court Division and Pietermaritzburg,